I am Lamont at Large, and today I am at the Calvary Catholic Cemetery here in Fresno, California. And as you can see, this grave was more than likely vandalized a while back, but they did a pretty decent job patching it up right there. Maybe something for me to possibly look into is starting to carry cement with me. Not a lot of room in the van for a lot of tools and equipment and what have you. I am going to start fixing up graves. Luckily, I don't see many that have been vandalized. It's pretty, I wouldn't say it's rare because I see it a lot, but I do go to a lot of cemeteries. So with that being said, a good job to whoever fixed this, because I know a lot of times the cemetery workers, they're not going to do it, but so here lies John Sontag. His stone is inscribed, died in Fresno, July 3rd, 1892, aged 33 years, 6 months, and 4 days. There's a picture of a train on there. So John Sontag, he had worked for Southern Pacific Railroad here. And while he was working on the job, he got hurt when he was uncoupling trains and it smashed his leg in. Well, after he was finally healed, he went back to work and they refused to hire him. And so he got pretty mad at them. So he ended up going to work for a farmer by the name of Chris Evans. He was a Canadian immigrant. And that was at the time when California was starting to lay down a lot of tracks, and they were buying up properties of farmers in the area, but they weren't giving them top dollar for their land. And on top of that, you got a greedy railroad company who's not only, doing that, the eminent domain where they pretty much just take your land and just give you pennies on the dollar for it. And on top of that, Mr. Evans was being charged of what he felt was a high, exorbitant price to haul his produce on the railroad cars. So him and John Sontag, they got together and they developed a plan to start robbing railroad cars when they would try to find if a car was hauling any kind of money from any banks or whatever of any value. And John Sontag, quickly became a very, very wanted man here in Central California, and he died in a shootout with local law enforcement. Others would say a posse. It says online that the inscription of the date of his death is wrong because he got into a shootout with them a year after what says the date on the stone. So it should say 1893, not 1892. But this is John Sontag. He got tired of their crap, so he kind of took matters into his own hands. Call him a criminal or whatever, but there's an interesting piece of history here at the cemetery. So my repair skills are very rudimentary at best. I used a little bit of Gorilla Glue. I didn't use too much because it expands and I didn't want it expanding out to the cracks, but I used enough that should keep it held together for a little while. Eventually it's gonna erode and it'll fall again. But anytime I see a grave that the stone is broken or it's on the ground, I just can't stop. I did look up better ways of possibly using cements or different kinds of glue for the stones. Space is a very big deal to me, living in a minivan and what have you. That's why I got to get my trailer up and going so I can carry more stuff with me for stuff like this. But I put this little plank of wood on the grave. So it usually takes about 24 hours to cure. So it should hold it somewhat. Hopefully it'll last through the summer out here. Okay, that was a quick tour of the Calvary Catholic Cemetery here in Fresno, California. I got to get out of here. I'm heading north. Live but not live, but still alive by the grace of God. I am Lamont at Large. Thank you for watching. Always appreciate it. I'll catch you on the next video. God willing. Peace out.